Hey guys, it's Kat and I am back today to get ready with me. That sounds weird. To film a get ready with me, I'm actually going to be doing my Project Pan check-in straight after this, and I thought last year I did this and I recently had a suggestion to do this and I thought, oh yeah, why not? I did it last year, why not do it this year? Take my Project Pan products, which are all here, all accounted for. I went through my list and I made sure I've got them all to update and just show you how I sort of use these on a daily basis, because with the hashtag Team Project Pan, or this year's one, hashtag Team Project Pan 2020, the whole premise and what I really like about it and the way I see a lot of progress on it is that it is pretty much a full face of products. So of course there's hair products and stuff that I'm not going to demonstrate, there's sunscreens I'm not going to demonstrate, but I'm going to show you how I can get a full face using this. And I used to really love doing this when I was working full-time in an office, because I had sort of my tub of products minus hair care, skincare and whatnot, and I would just reach for the same things every day, create a very similar look, maybe swap out an eyeshadow or a lip product if I want to change it up, and it was just a really good way to get through products. So I'm going to show you my current Project Pan sort of daily look. So when I'm not testing anything out, or I'm not trying to, like, I don't know, wear a bold statement lip or something, I tend to use a lot of these products, and this is just how I use them. I also thought this might be a good time to show sort of the Blenderful, Tati Beauty Blenderful in action. We did buy this to test it on Beauty News. I did talk about it in a favorites video. I mentioned that it's really, really good for the cream bronzer that I use in my Project Pan, because cream bronzers for me, especially really pigmented ones, I sort of struggle to use. Like, I might use them with brushes and stuff, but then I'm like, I don't really like the effect, or I got to blend it out a lot. I found that this is really helpful for it, so I'm going to use this in this demo as well. And you might also realize that I'm not in my normal setup. I'm in my Beauty News setup. So I'm sort of testing different locations. So right now I'm in my 3rd trimester of pregnancy and sitting on the floor. I don't mind sitting on the floor with my normal backdrop for like a quick video, but like something like this, it will probably take me a good 45 minutes to film, and then filming another video afterwards, my legs are going to die, my feet are going to swell up, and it's going to be, my lower back pain's going to play up. So I just thought, I've got a filming setup. It's a Beauty News one, so we'll see how it goes. I really don't like this sort of studio lighting for makeup. I find it a bit harsh, and it's not as sort of true to color and lighting. I much prefer natural lighting, but you know, it is what it is. All right, so in my Project Pan, I sort of stupidly have 2 primers, which is not a good thing because I'm not using up either one very fast. I've sort of neglected this one a little bit. This is the Smashbox Photo Finish Minimize Pores. I do like it, and it's really good for, again, minimizing pores, but also sort of mattifying the skin. But lately it's kind of been a little bit cooler, and because I do get these sort of hormonal breakouts, is a nice flare up. An example, I love when people find out that you're pregnant and they're like, oh my God, your skin is glowing. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's not. It's not. My skin is sort of dewy because I'm wearing oils and sunscreen, but I actually, you know, it's the hormone sort of influxes. And I stupidly in a past video mentioned that it was higher levels of testosterone. It might actually be progesterone. They both sort of cause breakouts, but people thought that was a gender reveal. It's not. It's just hormones from pregnancy, and they do this. So skin is not glowing, but I like to do a lot of things to make my skin look glowy because it's currently crap. So one that I am reaching for a little bit more is the Mecca Illuminating Primer. So I'm just going to use this with my finger. You can use it with your sponge if you want. I find finger just as easy. Not gonna lie, it's super handy just having my mirror in front of me on a desk. I usually film just cross-legged on the floor, and I'd have to use like a handheld mirror, but this is how I normally do my makeup. Not at this desk, but this is how I normally do my makeup in the morning, and it's just nice being able to do that on camera too. So this setup might be a bit of a winner for now, but I really don't like the lighting. Also, I don't know if you can see, I've got like a skin irritation on my eye. So whenever I put anything on, my face just looks red. And it looks super red on camera. It doesn't look that bad in real life, but glory red skin, very annoying. But this mark here, it happens when I get my skin flares up from using certain actives, and I think I'm using a sort of serum at the moment that's flaring it up. So again, I haven't cut out actives because of pregnancy. I've cut out actives because my skin actually does not like them half the time. All right, on to foundation. I'm going to use this guy with my foundation, and it's the L'Oreal Infallible 24-hour fresh wear. Yeah, 24-hour fresh wear in shade 120 Vanilla. It's a little bit, it's getting a little bit dark for me. In the middle of summer, it was all right, but it is getting a little bit sort of yellow toned. But I'm going to wear it anyway because I want it done. And another thing I want done is this Lancôme. It's like a illuminator thing. If I actually put this on my face, you will see how illuminating it actually is. But I kind of like to mix it with a foundation to lighten it because it is this white color and it does actually lighten foundation. So I'm going to put some on and just show you how illuminating it can be. This is also another trick where people are like, your skin is glowing, and I'm like, I've been using so much illuminator just because I've got it in my project pan that it's ridiculous. So you can see how shiny that is. It's bleh, compared to still very shiny. So maybe I should actually just put that all over my face because I need to use this up. I'm actually really struggling using this up. I find because it is so liquidy, it does actually, like I said, lighten a foundation, which is nice because this one's a little bit too dark. But I do find that it sort of dilutes the foundation a bit. And because it is illuminator, it tends to make it go on a little bit more streaky and doesn't wear as well. Luckily, that is ridiculous. Luckily, I'm not really doing much today, so I don't need my foundation to wear a long time, but that's a good way to use up this product. Just put it all over your face, look like Tin Man, and then just hope for the best. But I really want this gone because if it's not done by the next month's check-in, which is the refresh, it's out of here because I don't really like it. But if you want fake glowy skin and people be like, are you pregnant? Your skin is glowing? Just chuck all this all over your face because it will fake that look. All right, gonna use this now. A couple pumps on the back of my hand. I don't know if you can tell, but it is probably, it's not a bad tone. It's just a little bit too yellow for me. So I am gonna go in with a little bit of this just to once again use it up to mix it together and lighten it slightly. I'm not really loving this foundation at the moment, so I'm sort of struggling with it, but I am persisting. Can you see? I don't know if you can see on camera, but it is very yellow. Like my neck and body is a lot more yellow than my face, just because of the skin sort of irritation that I have on my face. But I don't know if you can see this, mixing this illuminator with it does make it really streaky, and I do sort of struggle with it. Even with this blender full that sort of puts it on quite nice and smooth, I am sort of struggling. So this combo is one that I don't love. I'm just sort of persisting with it on days where I don't need my makeup to last for a long time or it to be perfect because I just want it gone. All right, I've just moved you in a bit. Hopefully you'll be able to see this a bit better, but this is going on super patchy. This is not good. This illuminator is driving me bananas. Why'd I put so much on knowing that it actually does ruin my makeup? Oh, okay, this is a bad example of how to do your makeup every day. Don't do this. But this is a good example of trying to use a product and like giving it a real good shot and then realizing it's just not for you. I'm gonna let that dry a bit because I feel like it's the illuminator that's mixing with the foundation that's causing all this streaky patchiness, and then I'll go in with a bit more foundation. All right, I've decided I had to use a baby wipe and take all that off because that was not sitting well and I could not save it. So yeah, it just demonstrates that sometimes you try a product and you're like, look, I really want to give this a crack. I want to use it in my project pan. I want to use it up. And sometimes it just isn't a great product for you. I will persist with this because I'm so close to finishing it. And I haven't marked the update like this time around, so I'm nearly towards the end, but it just shows that if I use it as a primer sort of base and then mix it with my foundation, it just, yes, Boogie, what's up? But yeah, it just showed that applying it as a primer and really trying to like you get liberal use out of this does not work on my particular skin, and it definitely does not work mixing it, like applying this over the top and mixing it. So yeah, I want to persist with this, but I really don't like this product. So that's a good example of why, but I'm going to try again. I've put the primer on again, so I've used this again, put it on my face. I'm going to put a tiny bit of this mixed with this, and we're going to give it another crack. At least I'm getting some good use out of this, because in this last month, I haven't used it heaps and heaps and heaps because I've been trying to, what am I talking about? Hang on, I'll show you how much I've mixed in. Look, it looks like a lot, but it's just a little swirl. So there we go. There we go, I've mixed it. But yeah, I've been trying like Nabla foundations and whatnot, so I haven't actually been giving this a good crack. So let's see if with a little bit of the Illuminator, if this actually sticks to my skin with it. It's still so yellow. This is why I want this foundation gone. I think after this month, I'm gonna have to start just using it with a sort of a lightening drop type product to get it to actually suit my skin, but we'll see if we can use it as much as possible until that point. I'm just going to move to a cleaner corner so I can sort of like take away some of that excess, but you can see that it's not, hopefully you can see it's not as streaky as it was. All right, so I'm looking like a bit of a Simpsons character, but things are sitting a lot nicer than they did when I had this also as the primer. So I'm going to stick with using these just to mix and use the smallest amount of this and try to get through it as quickly as possible because it doesn't work for me. Okay, let's hope that the concealer that I'm using will not maybe tone down some of this yellow. Probably not because it's yellow. There we go, it's a problem. Again, I haven't really been using this concealer as much as I would like because I've been testing some Nabla products, but you know, let's get some use out of it. I'm finding this blender way too big to blend this. I don't like it for concealer. Let's use fingers instead. All right, so luckily that concealer actually sits pretty well over that foundation. I have found in the past the reason why I don't love this concealer is that it doesn't work with everything that I put it on top of. It can sort of like chunk up a little bit, but with this foundation it works quite well. So again, this combo is pretty good for a daily basis if this color wasn't so yellow for me. But they're not my favorite products, so I want to use them up, but they do work fairly well together and for just like a quick makeup look. All right, so the concealer added a little bit of coverage in areas I needed it, but also a bit of brightness, and now to add a little bit of depth. Now I really want to demonstrate this because at the start when I introduced it, the Huda Beauty Tantour in Fair, I was like, this is going to be such a struggle for me. It's a product that I don't use. It's a product that I really struggle with using on a daily basis. But I have been using it quite a bit in the last month, not like heaps and heaps, but definitely more than I ever have. And I have to use it at this stage. So before I powder my makeup, I need to put it on. And I found that if you actually see my update, you'll see that I have actually hit pan on it, which is crazy. Easy to hit pan on creams, let's be real, but this is a really, really pigmented product. Before using it with this, I was using it with my beauty blender or sponge or whatever I was using. So normally I apply my makeup with a sponge. So this base would have been applied. I would have put my primer on. I would have put my foundation on with a damp sponge. I would have put my concealer on with a damp sponge, and then I'd go in with the same sponge to apply this. So you don't need something like this to apply this, but I find that this works really well. So all I tend to do is squeeze it a bit. So I'm holding it like this. I pick up some product, so you can see the pan's getting bigger. So I pick up a bit of product. It's quite a lot of product, but this does blend it pretty well. So all I tend to do, and I mainly do this if I'm like filming or something. I don't tend to do this every day, but it does work really nicely, and you can do it every day. So I put about that much on. And I'll do the same for this side. Try not to go too heavy-handed because it is quite pigmented. So put it on like that, got it on. And then all you just do is just tap it in, tapper, tapper, tapper. And you can see that it just sort of blends really nicely in. You can also, like I said, do this with a damp sponge that you've applied your foundation with, especially if you use the area that's got foundation on it, so it sort of mixes with the foundation. But I find that this is just a quicker way to do it because you cover a larger area. So you can see that that just contours, but it's not too extreme, it's not too crazy, it's not too hard to do. Look, it just works. So I'm going to do the same over here. I'm going to pick up a tiny bit more, just tapping a little bit at a time. All right, so I think I probably over applied that for effect. Also on camera and in this sort of lighting, it's sort of hard to get to demonstrate a minimal amount, but I do feel like it adds a nice amount of dimension to the face, blends in really easily. So now it's time to powder. And I've been using this powder quite a lot, and I think I'm actually going to use it up pretty quickly, which is good. So I'm going to try to use the Blenderful again to apply the powder, just using that sort of clean tip. Again, I'll just use a brush to do this, but I've got this here and I've got to wash it, so I may as well just dirty it even more. So I am looking quite bronzed and quite yellow. This powder hopefully will tone some of that down, and I just sort of tap that on just to set everything, because my skin's not good with a lot of cream, so a lot of unset creams, it just tends to, I don't know, crease and move and get oily. So I do tend to powder quite a lot, but this is just because I've got oily skin. All right, so I do think that sort of brought the color down a little bit. I look a little bit less tanned. I look a lot more powdery, but I will spray that down. And yeah, I don't love this so much for powder. I think it does feel a little bit cakey. I think a brush just sort of dusts the powder on a bit nicely, but you can see that that sort of all works. Doesn't match my hands. It is what it is. Because I did use the Tantour, I'm going to skip the bronzer, but if I wasn't using the Tantour, which on a daily basis I don't, I tend to use the Tantour mainly when I'm filming and want more of a bold makeup look like I'm doing today. But generally I would just go in with my powder bronzer just on a bronzer brush and just dust it to make it a little bit less sort of bold and sort of pigmented on the face. But today I'm filming, so it is what it is. But I'm going in with my blushes, and look, by now you would have seen my update. I have hit pan on this highlighter to the point where I actually have stopped using it as much as I was because I'm worried I'm going to use it up too quickly. So I will use that today actually because I really like it, but I've been trying to give a bit more love to my other highlighter, which is my Pixie highlighter. So when I'm not using the highlighter in the blush palette, I've been using one of these, and I do like them, but I do like the one in the blush palette a lot more. But let's use one of these shades. All right, I'm going in with a Nabla. This is the big powder brush, and I'm just going to use probably that top shade there, which is Mod. So it is just sort of a matte, sort of terracotta peachy color. I'm just going to use that to put a bit of color back into my cheeks that isn't yellow. If I have gone a little bit overboard, which I sort of have done, I'm just going to go in with a little bit more powder and sort of just transition that a bit better. All right, with my Nabla highlighter brush, I'm going in with that one that I love so much, that one there. And this is just adding in that glow that people say I have, but it's, once again, just really highlighter. No glow, glow. No glow, glow. So it makes a big difference. Put some on my nose just to sort of, I feel like for me with my nose shape, it does work well, putting some highlighter on the tip of my nose. I know some people hate doing it. That's totally fine. I get it. But I think it sort of balances out, like if I just had matte nose, it wouldn't really work with that, but I'm just going to blend that out a little bit with a clean brush because I did put quite a lot on. I do like a bit of glow, but I don't want it to be super, super crazy. Under these lights, it looks a lot more intense than it does in real life, but yeah, we'll just tone it down a little bit so it just looks like a bit of a glow. Now I'm going to spray the crap out of my face with the Mecca Cosmetica Makeup Perfecting Mist because it is quite matte, it is quite heavy, and I want it to feel a little bit more hydrated. So let's just go in with a lot of it. So yeah, you can like a matte finish or need a matte finish because you have oily skin, but doesn't mean you needs to be like dry and desert and uncomfortable. So you can definitely spray the crap out of your face and let it sort of meld with your skin a little bit more and feel less sort of powdery. But yeah, I've put a lot on today, so let's just wait for this to dry. All right, so onto brows. I usually do eyes first, but my brows are looking woeful, so let's get out the Ka-Brow. So this is from Benefit. I'm not gonna look, this is gonna take me all year to use because it is a whole pot. I have worked my way through it a bit, but because it is quite dry, you know, it takes a lot. But I've just got some like mushed up angle brush from Real Techniques. I'm just going to use this to do the majority of my brows. I actually really like this color. It's 3.5 and it works a treat on my sort of brow coloring. But yeah, I'm only sort of using it up because it's getting a bit dry. So putting it on, just sort of slapping it on. All right, so that's roughly on. Then what I'm introducing, because this is probably my least used Benefit brow product, is actually the Brow Contour Pro. So it is one of those clickable pencils. It's got 2 brow colors and 2 definer highlight colors that I don't use. So for me, I'm just gonna wanna like pan the 2 brown shades. So I'm gonna go the deeper shade and you sort of twist it, and it's not a micro pencil, it's sort of in between a micro and a filling pencil. So it's not bad, but it's just one that I don't use because I prefer to fill in my brows and then go with a micro, whereas this is sort of some clunky thing in between. So I'm just gonna use this just to sort of mimic some hairs. Probably should have used a lighter color because that is quite bold, but I'm just sort of using it to define slightly. All right, so they're looking quite bold, but they will sort of balance out once I do my eyes. But I also like to do, I might go the lighter color actually for filling in. I just sort of color in my moles a little bit more just because you can kind of see them, and I just prefer them to look a little bit more put together by filling them in. Then a step that I don't do often, but it's one that I'll do if I'm going out for a long day and I want my sort of brows to stay in place. I'm going to use the Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is the clear brow gel. It's just a mini. I feel like this is drying up. I just don't know when to decide to give this up. I'm just not sure, but I just sort of use it. I've got quite unruly brow hairs and they like to do their own thing, and this sort of keeps them in place. All right, onto eyes, and I don't have an eyeshadow primer, but I do have this Jouer cream stick, which I don't mind these products. I just don't like this shade on me. You can probably tell when I put it on that it's very, very pink, and I just don't really like very pink eyeshadows. So, but yeah, if I'm going to use it, I'm going to mainly use it as a primer, and I sort of go quite liberal with it. As you can see, kind of messy because I don't really care. It's a primer. Oops. So all I do is I get a fluffy brush. This is just one by Morphe. I blend out the edges just to not have it look like harsh sort of chunky lines. Again, if this was a color that I really liked, I would just probably leave it there and do whatever else I need to do. But because I don't like this color, I'm going in with some eyeshadows. Just with the same brush that I used to blend that out, I'm just going to set the crease with this Wet n Wild Creme Brulee sort of nude matte. And with the same brush again, I'm just going in with the Illamasqua Justify eyeshadow. So this is like a nice sort of cool toned crease color, and I'm just going to pop that in the crease. All right, with this Sonia G Worker 3 brush, this is a really nice multi-purpose brush. I'm going in with Ulta Beauty. This is the Bronze Babe single eyeshadow. So this actually did crack and I had to sort of reform it. So it looks a little bit banged up because it is. But I'm just going to put that all over the lid. So I much prefer this sort of browny bronze tone to this rosy tone. But essentially it's, you know, giving this similar kind of effect, just changing the color of it, but I really like this color, so that's why I'm using it. All right, using a little bit just on the lower lash line just to add the color and sort of smoke it out a bit. All right, new thing that I've sort of added into my project pan is another Illamasqua eyeshadow. This is Wolf, so it's just a dark matte brown, and the reason I did that is because I do like to add a little bit more dimension, and I found that those 3 shades didn't really do it for me. So I'm just getting a pencil brush. This is from Colourpop, and I'm just adding a little bit on the lower lash line in the outer corner. Got a cat in the background. He's upset at me because I just kicked him out of the cot. When I turn my back and he goes into my the baby room / office, he jumps in the cot. So, cheeky boy. With a bit of a smaller angle brush, this is the Nabla Precision Soft Crease. I'm just putting a little bit of that darker color in the crease because I feel like that Justify shade doesn't add enough depth that I sort of like. So I'm just going to add a little bit more. All right, onto liner. I think eyeshadow is all done. This is my gel liner from MAC. You can see that I've hit pot. I'm just going to apply that with this. This is actually an art supply brush, so I don't know how to recommend that. It's from an art supply shop. All right, so I've just done a basic wing. What I actually did as well, just to make things a little bit different, is I brought it, so in the inner corner, I brought it down a little bit further just to make it a little bit more like cat eye. But now I'm just taking the same brush and I'm just going to be doing my waterline with it. So I'm just going to be painting a little bit of that liner. I like the look of it. I just feel like it's sort of, I don't like a really harsh black, like this is a dark sort of purpley brown. I don't like that really harsh black line, but I do feel like if I'm going to go ham with some mascara, this actually suits my eye shape a lot better and makes my lashes look a lot thicker. But you know, each to their own. All right, now for mascara. This is the MAC mascara. I haven't been using this too much this month because again, I've been trying to use some Nabla products. So this one's sort of been neglected a little bit. And I do feel like this is not, if I was doing like, if I was going out or filming, this is sort of not enough mascara for me. So this is more of like if I wasn't wearing liner and if I wasn't wearing as much base, this is enough for sort of like a daily basis. But for a bold look, I would have to go in with some lashes. But you know, mascara is mascara. But it does the job. Okay, for lip products, I do have, I think I've got about 4 lip products and a lip liner. Tempted to use this. Oh, my battery is flashing. Do I go change it now? Maybe. All right, so I'm back and I actually just put my lip product on and then realized the audio wasn't on and I've got to do it again. So I've removed my lip product. Now let's do it again. So I do have quite a few lip products in my project pan. The one that I would like to demonstrate is the Huda one, but I need to let it settle. So I haven't actually marked it. I haven't seen what it's up to. I think I actually haven't used it at all this month, so probably should use it. But what I do want to demonstrate instead is my lip liner and lip gloss combination. So this is the Illamasqua lip liner in, the color is Ascend, but it's a medium lip pencil. So what I like to do is not only sort of like shape my lip line a little bit, but I like to fill it in because I really like this color. So that's what I'm just going to do really quickly now. So hopefully you can tell that it is sort of my lip tone, but it's just a little bit darker. So it works really well at sort of shaping my lips, but keeping the sort of same color story. So I do really like that effect. It is a little bit dry because it is an older lip pencil, so that's why I'm getting rid of it. But I'm going to go in with my lip gloss over the top. This is from Colourpop and it's the Moonchild lip gloss, and I just find that this adds a little bit more comfort and shine. I'm not going to add too much. So the lip liner adds the color and the shape, and as the lip gloss starts to wear down, you'll still have some color there, but the lip gloss adds a little bit more shine and a little bit more comfort to the lips. All right, so that is the final look, and it is a full-on look. So I'm not saying that this is something that, you have to do on a daily basis. I'm not saying that if you're doing a project pan, this is how much makeup you need to wear to use up your products. If you wear this much makeup, you will use up your products fast, absolutely. But this is sort of like the full glam version of what I can achieve with my project pan products. I could go a little bit different. I could probably go a little bit more bold by using my liquid lipstick. But then again, I could tone things down a lot. So if I wanted to tone down my base, I'll just use less of it. I would probably use the powder bronzer instead of the cream contour. Wouldn't use as much highlighter, wouldn't use as much blush. And then I would probably, you know, swap out lip products for like my tinted lip product rather than sort of like a bold sculpted lip. Again, the eyeshadows, like I could just use a wash of color with some mascara. I don't need to go as bold as I have today. I don't need to use a wing liner. I don't need to do all that kind of stuff. So there is a versatility with this. And like I said, you don't need to wear a full face of like heavy makeup every day to use up your products. But it's nice to have a range of products that you can go quite minimal with or build up for, you know, sort of going out and long wear like this is sort of designed for. So that's just an example of the products that I currently have and how I sort of use them. I think for me, the only issues, like the sticking points here that I don't like using, are these two. So definitely this is a struggle, but because I'm so close to finishing it, I'm going to stick with it. But I don't mind this foundation. I don't like it mixed with that highlighter, and I also need to color correct it. So I need to use lightening drops that will take away some of the yellow and maybe lighten them slightly, because as you can see, I'm looking quite yellow compared to the rest of me. So these are the points that I'm sort of struggling with, I'm not loving, but I can achieve a look that I'm happy to continue using until I use them up. But yeah, it does show that if you enjoy the products, like pretty much everything else here I enjoy, you can definitely use them on a daily basis, and you will get through products pretty fast. So anyway, that is my full face using Project Pan products. And I will link my update down below that I'm just about to film, so you'll see that first. So yeah, if you want to see how I'm going at the 2-month check-in, which is a month away from the quarterly check-in where I can do a refresh, I will link that down below. Hopefully that was moderately interesting, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.